I also would like to thank all the speakers this week because every single talk has been so inspiring. I can say I'm taking at least 1 point for each one of your talks, so thank you very much for that. When the topic was sent to us about how you fight your own battle, I asked myself that question, Nariyani, how do you fight your own battles? And I have to say that I answered to myself, well, it depends. It depends of the circumstances. It depends of the enemy that you have in front of you. It depends, whatever the battle might be. And then I can choose accordingly. I can choose the right tools, the right attitudes, and just discriminate a little bit because we may not need to use an atomic bomb to kill a mosquito, nor we can fight a shark with a fork. I mean, it's obvious. But one thing that I have... Okay, working? Hello? Hello? Okay, that's it. But one of the things that I'm learning is that in every battle, if you have time before you react, just take a step back and just try to see the larger picture, because that will give you a sense of how to act accordingly. And also ask yourself, what am I fighting against? And all of us right now more or less know the answer. We are fighting against our own karma. Not anybody else's, just our own, but not just Narayani's karma or Surya's karma. We are fighting against all the energy patterns along our spine. So karma, it's not personal in that sense. It's neutral. And that's what I would like to share today about the importance of not taking personally situations, our karma, and especially ourselves. Jyotish and Devi were talking recently on Monday about the importance of remain calm, centered, and Devi also mentioned in the beautiful Sevaka retreat we had the importance of when we communicate with each other, just bring a sense of impersonality to the situation. And that reminded me an incident that we had with Swamiji. This happened here at the village in his swimming pool. It happened to be just Swamiji, Devi, and myself. And we were just the three of us, just quiet in silence, enjoying each other's company. And at some point, Swamiji looked at both of us, Devi and myself, and he said, you two are the most impersonal woman I have ever known. And I thought that was a very interesting remark, because knowing Swamiji, I knew that even his compliments carried a subtle layer, ready for each one of us to discover, perhaps over the years. If Swamiji complimented for a quality that you already had, he knew that that quality would eventually become your greatest strength. Or if not, he was planting a seed thought for you to go back to that comment, to that compliment, and use it in moments of need. Swami Kriyananda writes in one of his books the importance as yogis to impersonalize everything we do, in the sense that we don't take ourselves personally, and whenever we act without self-involvement. it is only now that I'm understanding a little bit more what Swamiji said when, towards the end of his life, he referred to himself just as an event for which I am responsible. Yes, he was responsible for his energy, for his thoughts, for his actions, for his words, for anything that he put out, but he wasn't concerned with the end result or what others thought about him. As Naya Swami Riemann was talking in his talk, most of our ideas of what we think, what others think about us, are not even real. And the only thing that they do is just paralyze us and confuse us. But Swamiji's crystal clarity didn't come as a result of his intellect. It was of his own impersonal relationship with himself. And when I think about that, and even with his closest relationships, I also saw that he brought that level of impersonality into the relationship. I remember once he told me, many people have come to me and they have told me that you are a very nice looking young woman. And he looked at me and he said, well, it's true, you are not that ugly. And I thought, okay, thank you, Swamiji, for that. But then, very seriously, as if pondering for all those comments that were coming to him, he said, but I can never see you in that way. I only recognize you as a consciousness. And wouldn't be that a wonderful thing for each one of us to start relating to each other from consciousness to consciousness, where we set aside the interactions related on personality or likes or dislikes, or I don't want to interact with this person because, I don't like him that much, or he's not doing what I was expected he should be doing, and so forth. When we learn to put all those things aside, especially if we are living in a community, but the only thing that we are really to develop is a unity of consciousness. And I will say, especially if there is anyone in the community that you have not yet connected, invite that person in your meditation and start relating to them, with them, from your consciousness to their consciousness. It would be very hard if we just bring down our relationship at the level of the ego, because at some point, those relationships are going to disappoint us. So might as well try to keep the relationship as high as we can. I was thinking, imagine having a friend that everything you say takes it personally. He always misunderstands. You always need to explain, where are you coming from. He, easily get hurt and so forth. For example, you are explaining how you don't like Chinese food, and then they are alluding to that time when they serve you Chinese food 2 months ago, and they think that's what you are referring for, and you are constantly trying to justify your intentions. At some point, it's going to be very hard to maintain that relationship where you are constantly need to prove your friendship. Now, let's bring that dynamic into our relationship with God. Because we all have that very tendency to take everything that God sends us personally. We get hurt easily. We misunderstand him. We want justification. We feel it's not fair. And we sometimes feel misunderstood because we think he doesn't know the full picture of our life. I wonder how much God enjoys our friendship when he feels he always has to justify and explain what he does, to the point that he's unable to guide us because we can just see beyond ourselves. The more we impersonalize our karma, the freer we'll become. Because karma needs a reference point to stick to. When we impersonalize the karma, what we are really doing is we are giving nothing to that karma to attach itself to, thereby diminishing greatly its power. I want to end with a brief story of one of our friends, Ananda Sisi. She was going on her way to Rome. She was going to take a flight to India. She had a function there. And on her way to the airport, she stopped in the highway to have a cup of coffee, just a briefly cup of coffee. And when she came back, someone broke into her car and stole all her luggage. The windows were smashed, everything, and her luggage was, gone. And as it happened to be, she was going to a function, so she had all this jewelry there, all the expensive clothes, a lot of money. I don't know how she left it there, but it happens to us. A lot of money, I think it was like thousands of dollars were just gone. That weekend happened that Swamiji was also there in Rome, and she wanted to share with Swamiji what just happened because she was, shocked. This was a huge thing. So she was crying, she was sobbing, and when she went to Swamiji, I was there and I witnessed the entire situation. And she was just explaining to Swamiji, this is crazy. Now I have to go to the police. I'm going to lose my flight. Thousands of dollars are gone, all the gifts, all the things. It was a very traumatic experience. Her life was about to change, at least for 2-3 weeks. She had to deal with all that. So she was explaining to Swamiji, and when she finished, Swamiji, very seriously, he said, "Don't take it personally." And that impacted me very deeply, because in that moment, that's how Swamiji wanted for her to confront her karma. Like, remove the impersonality of it. Because if you start adding layers of emotion and start referring all that has happened to you personally, it's going to be bigger. Don't take it personally. And I thought, wow, that's an advice for an entire lifetime. Probably not the advice that she was expecting, but the fact that Swamiji saw that she could be spiritually ready to receive such an advice and to do something with it, it shows how much Swamiji emphasized the importance of not taking things personally to free us from karma. And that's one of the things that I have been recently practicing very consciously. Whenever something happens to me, Swamiji, we are good. I'm not going to take this personally. I'm good. And I think this could be a very good little mantra and a little conversation that you can have on a daily basis with God, with the Guru, with the masters. If anyone looks at you in the way that you thought they shouldn't have looked at you, it's okay. I'm not going to take this personally. If anyone reacted in a way that you thought they should, I'm not going to take it personally, because we are here to free ourselves. And I think that's what the masters are really enjoying about us, because this is just a very tiny incarnation in the spectrum of an entire eternity. Jai Guru.